Have you ever wondered why some people seem happier and more content in their later years while others feel trapped or burdened by their relationships? The truth is, as we age, having a partner may not always be the blessing people assume it is. In fact, for many, it can turn into a slow and silent drain, one that saps energy, limits freedom, and adds stress that no one needs in their golden years. If you've ever found yourself questioning whether staying in a relationship is worth it, or if you're wondering why life feels heavier when it should feel more peaceful, you're not alone. As we move through life, the idea of companionship shifts, and it's crucial to recognize when maintaining a partnership might actually be doing more harm than good. Today, we'll explore 5 key reasons why being single after 60 might just be the healthiest choice you can make. If you value your peace, freedom, and well-being, take a moment to subscribe to Graceful Elderly and share this message. Understanding these insights could completely transform your outlook on aging and relationships. Now, let's begin with the first reason: the emotional burden of constant compromise. When you're younger, relationships are often built on compromise, adjusting your habits, sacrificing time, and putting in the effort to maintain harmony. It's seen as part of growth and building a life together. However, as you get older, the emotional energy needed to constantly accommodate another person becomes more taxing. Your tolerance for unnecessary stress naturally decreases, and simple decisions like what to eat for dinner or how to spend the day can turn into endless debates. Take Robert, a 74-year-old who spent decades adjusting his life around his wife's needs. He loved her deeply, but their routine had always been shaped by her preferences. Now, all he wants is to spend his mornings in peace, sipping coffee in silence, but his wife insists on watching loud television as soon as she wakes up. It might seem like a small issue, but after years of compromise, even the simplest preferences feel like battles. Many people find that in their later years, instead of enjoying the freedom they've worked hard to earn, they're still stuck in cycles of managing someone else's feelings and needs. It's not just about making big sacrifices, it's the accumulation of countless small compromises that wears down the spirit. The reality is, at this stage in life, you shouldn't feel obligated to accommodate every whim of another person at the cost of your own happiness. Peace of mind should take precedence, and if being in a relationship disrupts that peace, it's worth reconsidering whether the partnership is truly serving you. The second reason to consider staying single after 60 is the loss of true independence. One of the greatest freedoms that comes with aging is the ability to finally live life on your own terms. After decades of raising children, working tirelessly, and constantly putting others first, reaching your later years should mean embracing your autonomy. However, when you're in a relationship, your choices often remain tied to someone else's needs, habits, and expectations. Imagine Frank, a 78-year-old who spent his life being a devoted husband. After his wife passed away, he realized that he had never truly made decisions just for himself. From choosing where to live to what hobbies to pursue, everything had been a compromise. When he finally embraced being alone, he discovered a newfound sense of freedom, no longer having to check in, compromise plans, or accommodate another person's preferences. It wasn't that he didn't love his wife. It was simply that he had never experienced the joy of complete independence. Even in healthy relationships, being constantly considerate of someone else's wishes can feel like an invisible constraint. You might feel obligated to plan meals together, sync schedules, or adapt your routine. It's not about disliking your partner. It's about recognizing how much autonomy you lose without realizing it. Being single allows you to fully immerse yourself in your own desires, whether it's traveling spontaneously, picking up a new hobby, or spending the day exactly how you choose. Mental independence also plays a significant role. In long-term relationships, perspectives often become blended, and individual thoughts can feel overshadowed. You might not even notice how much your thinking has been shaped by years of discussions and compromises. Being alone gives you the rare chance to reconnect with your own thoughts and rediscover your pure, unfiltered opinions. The third reason is the emotional exhaustion from constant compromise. In your younger years, compromise often feels like a way to build a strong partnership. You learn patience, flexibility, and cooperation. But as you grow older, compromise can become a heavy burden. The energy once spent adjusting to someone else's needs now feels more draining than ever. What once seemed like small sacrifices add up over the years, creating a subtle but persistent exhaustion. Robert, who spent years adapting his life around his wife's preferences, found that once he was alone, he didn't feel the crushing loneliness he had expected. Instead, he felt a surprising sense of relief. He could finally watch the movies he liked, eat the meals he preferred, and structure his day without negotiation. It wasn't that his marriage lacked love. It was that he hadn't realized how much of himself he had set aside to maintain harmony. As you age, the desire for tranquility becomes stronger. You no longer want to debate small decisions or feel obligated to meet someone else's expectations daily. The simplicity of living alone, where your choices are solely your own, becomes more appealing. You gain the ability to wake up and decide exactly how you want to spend your day without feeling the need to justify or explain your choices. The fourth reason is the burden of caretaking. When people envision long-term relationships in old age, they often picture companionship, support, and love lasting through the final years. But the reality many don't consider is the overwhelming responsibility of being a caretaker when a partner's health declines. Even the most loving relationships can turn into full-time caregiving situations, which can be physically and emotionally exhausting. James, at 77, found himself becoming his wife's primary caregiver after she fell ill. Initially, he was happy to help, but as her condition worsened, his own health deteriorated from the stress. He wasn't sleeping well, lost weight, and felt overwhelmed by the endless demands. What began as an act of love turned into an all-consuming duty. Many elderly caregivers experience higher rates of depression and physical illness due to the stress of constant care. The sad truth is that by the time one partner passes, the surviving spouse is often left in worse health than if they had remained single. Choosing to stay independent can mean prioritizing your own well-being rather than becoming physically and emotionally drained by someone else's declining health. As we age, one of the most overlooked but significant challenges of staying in a relationship is the financial and emotional strain it can bring. While companionship is often seen as a safeguard against loneliness, the practical realities of maintaining a relationship in your later years can be unexpectedly taxing. In many cases, choosing to remain single after 60 allows for greater financial stability and emotional peace, providing a sense of security that a relationship might not offer. One of the primary financial challenges is the cost of health care. As couples age, it's not uncommon for one partner to develop chronic health issues, requiring ongoing care and medical expenses. Even when both individuals are relatively healthy, the risk of one spouse needing long-term care can put significant strain on shared finances. Nursing home fees, home health care, and prescription costs can quickly deplete savings, especially when one person's medical needs exceed expectations. Take Margaret and John, a couple in their late 70s. When John was diagnosed with a degenerative illness, their carefully planned retirement savings quickly dwindled under the weight of medical bills. Margaret found herself cutting back on her own needs to afford John's treatments, leading to stress and financial insecurity. In contrast, Margaret's friend Helen, who remained single, had complete control over her finances and could make healthcare decisions that suited her own needs without feeling pressured to compromise. Managing finances as a single person in later life can be simpler and more predictable. Without the added concern of a partner's healthcare needs, it becomes easier to budget for your own care and well-being. Additionally, maintaining separate assets and not having to worry about splitting income between two people allows for more flexibility and fewer financial conflicts. Another financial aspect to consider is the complexity of blending assets. For those who enter new relationships later in life, navigating financial matters becomes even more complicated. Children from previous marriages might feel entitled to certain assets, and disagreements about inheritance can cause tension. Managing joint finances with a late life partner often requires legal planning, creating wills, and setting up trusts to ensure both parties feel secure and respected when two people combine their financial lives after years of independent management. Differences in spending habits and savings priorities can quickly lead to friction. One partner may wish to travel or make significant purchases, while the other may prioritize saving for potential healthcare needs. This disparity can cause arguments and resentment, especially when one partner feels that their financial security is being compromised. Another challenge is estate planning. Even with the best intentions, remarriage or long-term partnerships can complicate how assets are distributed after one partner's death. Children from previous marriages may feel slighted or neglected if they perceive that a new partner is inheriting more than they are. Managing these expectations while trying to build a new relationship can create emotional turmoil and legal challenges. Aside from finances, the emotional strain of being in a relationship at an older age can also be significant. While companionship can be comforting, it often requires ongoing emotional labor, maintaining harmony, managing conflicts, and constantly considering another person's feelings. After decades of working through relationship challenges, some people find that they simply do not have the energy or desire to continue making such efforts in their later years. One major emotional challenge is dealing with differing expectations about togetherness. Some partners want constant companionship, while others value their solitude. This discrepancy becomes more pronounced as people age and become more set in their routines. If one person craves social activities while the other prefers quiet evenings, conflict is almost inevitable. The energy required to navigate these differences can feel exhausting, leading to tension rather than comfort. For example, David, a 72-year-old widower, entered into a new relationship hoping to find companionship. However, he quickly realized that his new partner, Linda, preferred an active social life, constantly inviting friends over or planning outings. David, on the other hand, valued his quiet routine. Instead of feeling supported, he felt overwhelmed and anxious. The relationship, instead of bringing peace, became a source of stress and frustration. Staying single after 60 allows individuals to honor their own rhythms and preferences without the pressure to accommodate someone else's lifestyle. It means waking up when you want, eating what you like, and spending your days as you choose. This freedom to shape your environment according to your own comfort is invaluable, especially when you've spent most of your life compromising for others. There's also the emotional burden of feeling responsible for another person's happiness. In relationships, especially as you age, there can be an unspoken expectation to be a constant source of support. While it's natural to want to care for someone you love, it can also become overwhelming when your own energy levels are declining. Feeling obligated to keep someone else happy can drain your emotional reserves, leaving you feeling depleted rather than fulfilled. Many older adults express a desire for emotional simplicity, a life where peace and routine outweigh the excitement of romantic involvement. This simplicity doesn't mean a lack of connection, but rather choosing connections that are low maintenance and stress-free. Friendships, community involvement, and family relationships often provide the social support needed without the complex dynamics of a romantic relationship for women, particularly those who have spent their lives nurturing families and managing households. Being single after 60 often feels like a long-deserved break from caretaking roles. They can finally focus on their own interests without worrying about meeting a partner's expectations. This newfound freedom can lead to personal growth, rediscovery of hobbies, and a deeper sense of self. For men, staying single can mean rediscovering autonomy after years of partnership. It can involve taking up hobbies that were put on hold, reconnecting with old friends, or traveling without the need to coordinate plans with someone else. The absence of relational pressure allows for a deeper exploration of personal interests and a more relaxed pace of life. Choosing to be single at this stage of life is not about rejecting love or companionship. It's about prioritizing well-being and maintaining control over one's life. It's about making a conscious choice to simplify daily routines, protect financial stability, and avoid the emotional strain that can come with maintaining a partnership. Embracing singlehood after 60 doesn't mean giving up on relationships altogether. It means redefining relationships in a way that supports your well-being. Building meaningful friendships, fostering family connections, and engaging in community activities can fill your life with warmth and social engagement without the demands of a romantic partnership. One of the most surprising benefits of staying single after 60 is the positive impact it can have on both physical and mental health. While many assume that being in a relationship automatically leads to better health outcomes, the reality is more nuanced. Maintaining your independence, setting your own routine, and focusing on self-care can actually foster a healthier, more balanced lifestyle. One key factor that contributes to better health in single older adults is the ability to prioritize self-care without compromise. In relationships, it's common to put a partner's needs ahead of your own, sometimes neglecting personal health in the process. This tendency becomes more pronounced when one partner's health declines and the other becomes a caregiver. While caregiving is an act of love, it can also lead to burnout, stress, and even health issues of your own. Imagine Mary, a 68-year-old who spent years caring for her ailing husband. During that time, her own health took a back seat. She skipped regular checkups, lost weight from stress, and rarely had time for physical activity. After her husband passed away, she slowly began to reclaim her routine, prioritizing walks, cooking nutritious meals, and attending yoga classes. To her surprise, her energy levels and mood improved significantly, reminding her of the vitality she had lost while immersed in caretaking. Being single allows you to focus on your own well-being without guilt. You can plan your day around what keeps you healthy, whether it's a morning stretch routine, preparing balanced meals, or simply taking a nap when you need it. Without the pressure to accommodate another person's schedule or preferences, you gain the freedom to listen to your body and meet its needs consistently. Another health benefit of staying single is the reduction of stress and anxiety. Relationships, even the most loving ones, often come with a level of tension. Managing expectations, resolving conflicts, or dealing with differences in lifestyle choices. When you're single, you have full control over your environment, which naturally lowers stress levels. For instance, Sam, a 73-year-old bachelor, values his calm, quiet mornings. In his previous marriage, He constantly felt stressed trying to meet his wife's social expectations, often feeling exhausted from attending gatherings and family events. Now that he lives alone, he can choose his social engagements thoughtfully, focusing on activities that genuinely bring him joy without feeling pressured to keep up with someone else's pace. Studies have shown that living alone with intention can lead to better sleep patterns and lower blood pressure. Without interpersonal conflicts or the stress of managing a relationship, your nervous system has a chance to relax. You can design a bedtime routine that suits your preferences, reading a book, enjoying a cup of herbal tea, or meditating before sleep. Maintaining a peaceful, orderly living space also contributes to a sense of calm, helping to reduce the chronic stress that can weaken the immune system. Another advantage of single life after 60 is the freedom to cultivate mental clarity. Relationships, especially long-term ones, often involve navigating emotional complexities, disagreements, and compromises. While these interactions are part of life, they can also cloud your own thoughts and priorities. Being single allows you to focus inward, gaining a deeper understanding of your own desires and values. Many older adults find that solitude enhances their creative thinking and personal reflection, whether through journaling, painting, or spending time in nature. Solitude encourages introspection that might not be possible when constantly negotiating with a partner. This clarity can lead to a renewed sense of purpose, helping you set personal goals that reflect your true interests rather than accommodating someone else's plans. Being single also encourages social variety. Rather than depending on one person for companionship, you build a network of friends, neighbors, and community connections. This diversity in social interactions can actually be more fulfilling, as you're not relying on a single relationship for emotional support. Engaging with different people reduces loneliness and keeps your social skills sharp. For instance, Martha, a 70-year-old widow, found herself more socially active after her husband passed away. She joined a local gardening club, participated in a book group, and reconnected with college friends through video calls. Instead of feeling isolated, she felt enriched by the variety of perspectives and activities, fostering a sense of belonging that wasn't dependent on just one person. Physical health also benefits from the autonomy that single life offers. You can choose an exercise routine that suits your own pace without worrying about accommodating someone else's preferences. If you enjoy brisk morning walks or gentle evening stretches, you can make those choices based purely on what feels right for you. Consistency becomes easier when you're not negotiating around another person's schedule. Diet is another area where single living can promote better health. You have complete control over your meals, choosing foods that nourish you without considering someone else's tastes or dietary restrictions. Cooking for yourself can become an enjoyable ritual rather than a chore, focusing on fresh ingredients and balanced portions. You can experiment with new recipes without feeling judged or pressured to stick to traditional meals. Mental well-being also flourishes when you're single and intentional about your routine. You can create daily habits that protect your peace, like setting aside time for meditation, enjoying hobbies without interruption, or simply embracing the quiet of your own space. These practices cultivate resilience, helping you manage stress more effectively. It's also important to acknowledge the emotional health benefits of solitude. While loneliness can be a risk for some, those who embrace singlehood with purpose often find that they enjoy their own company. Learning to be content with yourself without constantly seeking validation from a partner builds self-confidence and emotional stability. Moreover, single life encourages you to make decisions without hesitation. Whether it's redecorating a room, adopting a pet, or planning a solo trip, you can follow your instincts without debating every choice. This decisiveness fosters a sense of agency and personal responsibility, reinforcing your belief in your own capabilities Staying single after 60 also encourages physical and emotional maintenance without guilt. You can prioritize your health. Checkups, pursue new fitness routines, and invest in your own happiness without feeling like you're neglecting a partner. This proactive approach keeps both your body and mind agile, reducing the risk of feeling stagnant or stuck. In the end, singlehood in later life isn't about isolation. It's about empowerment and self-care. It's about recognizing that your well-being doesn't have to be tied to someone else's presence. Choosing to live alone with intention allows you to flourish on your terms, protecting your health, nurturing your mind, and savoring the freedom that comes from embracing your own company. Choosing to stay single after 60 can be a transformative experience, not just for your physical and mental well-being, but for your personal growth and self-discovery. While society often emphasizes the importance of romantic relationships, the reality is that being alone can offer a unique opportunity to reconnect with yourself and explore your interests without compromise. One of the most profound aspects of single life at this stage is the chance to redefine your identity. After years of being part of a couple or focusing on family responsibilities, it's common to feel uncertain about who you are on your own. However, this period can become a time of renewal. You have the freedom to rediscover what truly makes you happy without the influence of a partner's preferences or habits. Take Elaine, a 69-year-old who spent much of her life balancing the needs of her husband and children. After her husband passed away, she initially felt lost, unsure of how to structure her days. Gradually, she started exploring activities she'd always been curious about but never pursued: pottery, hiking, and even joining a local choir. To her surprise, she found not just enjoyment, but also a sense of purpose, as if parts of herself, long buried, were finally coming to life. This journey of self-discovery is not just about finding hobbies. It's about reconnecting with your inner voice. You might find that your tastes have evolved or that you've developed new curiosities. Embrace this time as an adventure rather than a loss. Experiment with new routines, revisit past passions, and give yourself permission to evolve without guilt or hesitation. One of the most empowering aspects of single life is the ability to set your own pace. Whether you want to spend an entire day immersed in a good book or wake up early to catch the sunrise, your schedule is entirely yours. This freedom allows for spontaneity and flexibility, which can be refreshing after years of coordinating with a partner. In your later years, it's also important to cultivate social connections on your own terms. Just because you're single doesn't mean you have to be isolated. In fact, many older adults find that their social lives become richer and more diverse when they are free to pursue relationships that truly matter to them. Instead of relying on a single companion, you can nurture friendships based on shared interests and mutual respect. Consider joining community groups, hobby clubs, or even online forums where you can engage with others without the pressure of romantic involvement. Whether it's a knitting circle, a gardening club, or a travel group for seniors, these connections are often more relaxed and joyful because they're chosen freely rather than out of obligation. Another key to living well as a single person is to embrace your solitude without fearing it. Being alone doesn't have to equate to loneliness. In fact, solitude can be a profound teacher, helping you build resilience, contentment, and inner peace. Practice being comfortable in your own company by creating routines that celebrate quiet moments, cooking a meal just for yourself, enjoying a solo walk in nature, or writing reflections in a journal. If feelings of loneliness do arise, acknowledge them without judgment. Sometimes it's not about eliminating loneliness entirely, but about understanding it. Loneliness can be a signal that you need connection or engagement. but it doesn't have to define your experience. Reach out to friends, volunteer, or simply allow yourself to sit with the feeling without rushing to fix it. Another vital aspect of thriving as a single older adult is setting personal goals that inspire you. It's never too late to learn something new or to challenge yourself. Set small, attainable goals that bring joy and keep your mind engaged. Maybe it's completing a creative project, visiting a new place, or learning a skill you've always admired. Goal setting fosters a sense of direction and accomplishment, which can significantly boost your emotional well-being. Staying single also allows you to focus on self-improvement without distraction. Whether it's working on your health, improving your home environment, or cultivating a spiritual practice, you have the space to invest in your personal growth. You can practice mindfulness, attend workshops, or delve into personal development books without needing to accommodate someone else's schedule or opinions. Financial independence is another crucial element of thriving solo. With no need to compromise on spending, you can budget according to your priorities. Maybe you want to travel, renovate your living space, or invest in your health. Making financial decisions without having to justify them to a partner gives you a sense of empowerment and control. Your single life also opens doors to community involvement. Volunteering, mentoring, or participating in local events not only keeps you socially active, but also gives you a sense of purpose. Many older adults find immense satisfaction in giving back, whether it's through helping at a food bank, teaching a class, or offering guidance to younger generations. One of the most beautiful aspects of single life is the ability to create a living environment that truly reflects your personality. Without having to accommodate someone else's tastes or habits, you can decorate your home exactly as you like: bright colors, cozy corners, or minimalist simplicity. Your space becomes a sanctuary tailored to your comfort and happiness. Maintaining self-respect and dignity as you age is crucial, and being single can actually make this easier. You're not constantly negotiating boundaries or defending your choices. Instead, you can cultivate a lifestyle that aligns with your values without compromise. You are the sole author of your daily story, and that autonomy nurtures a profound sense of pride. Celebrate the little victories that come with independence. Fixing something around the house, mastering a new recipe, or completing a project you've been putting off. Each accomplishment reinforces your belief in your capabilities and helps build confidence. Lastly, being single allows you to embrace the journey of self-acceptance. You no longer need to shape your identity to fit someone else's expectations. Instead, you can explore who you are now, in this stage of life, with all your strengths, quirks, and aspirations. Aging alone doesn't mean fading into the background. It means stepping forward into a new chapter with grace and courage. Living well after 60, single and strong, is about choosing peace over pressure, growth over stagnation, and joy over obligation. You can build a life filled with purpose, connection, and happiness by honoring your own path, embracing solitude when it brings comfort, and seeking social engagement that uplifts you. Your life, just as it is, holds immense potential for fulfillment and contentment. Staying single is not about being alone. It's about being authentically yourself every day, without the constraints that sometimes come with partnership. You are not just surviving. You are thriving, living each day on your terms with dignity, joy, and the freedom to be exactly who you want to be.